ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Let's go. It's time for Sedano and Cap.
A little sabor, and we're going to just nosh.
It is George Sedano. It is Scott Kaplan. Sedano and Cap is on for your Friday afternoon.
I'm going to have to say respectfully, I'm going to disagree.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know.
Here we go, Friday in the Southland. A lot to get to today, including Sedano was calling the game last night on ESPN Radio. Cappy was annoying Kevin Harlan on the floor. And the Lakers were actually playing like a championship team. They beat the Celtics. We'll get the recap from Shaq. And I guess Cappy, too, what kind of adventures he got into. And you know this radio show is often the voice of the Raider Nation. And Pete Carroll is back in the NFL. Your new head coach of the Raiders, baby. Just win. Our very own Kirk Morrison, he was a Raider. I think he wore number 52. He's going to join us and talk about the Raider Nation. And I'm sure it's going to be thrilling. Just like Cappy yesterday talking about the A-Team.
You better watch the A-Team, fool. You want to watch the A-Team? I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to take your TV. I'm going to give it to somebody who want to watch the A-Team. You feel me, sucker?
Let's do it Friday in the Southland. And the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover is on.
A Jerusalem cherry.
He likes to lay the wood.
Yeah. You say Kikuchi.
Wacky forced radio stunt of the year.
Christopher can go to hell. Oh, nothing worse than the horse. Nah, man, black don't crack.
Benjamin Pratt is like, how do you say his name? Asminger?
Asminger. Hey, these Hard Knocks guys, they're all over me right now. It's like I'm in back in Dayton. You are a bit killer.
Because you got to talk about sperm?
I mean, look at me. I'm a hot piece of ass. I mean, look at him.
Sedano and Cap, your Friday afternoon right now.
Bing, ba-da-bum, ding, da-dum, doom, boo, ba-da-bop. Ding, da-dum, bing, ba-da-bop, pick-a-doom, da-dum-bum. Yeah, do-da-da-dee. It's Friday, doom-da-da-bum.
I did see the video of you saying hi to Kevin Harlan. I quickly said hello real quick before I ran upstairs to do the game. He was pleasant as always, a wonderful human being. Was Reggie there too when you said hello?
No, Reggie was not there. Kevin and I got into an extremely deep conversation in probably all of about 3 or 4 minutes. And little did I know, George, that the paparazzi was following me.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden...
Parker's crew.
Yeah, I mean, all I wanted to do was go up and say hello to a friend and just, pass along something to him. Because what you didn't know is that yesterday while we were on the air, I was trying to get Kevin to come on, but I didn't want you to know. I kind of wanted to surprise you.
Yeah, you told me afterwards.
Yeah, and so Kevin was like, hey, if you need me today, sorry it didn't all work out. But I had no idea the paparazzi was following me. I was just going over to say hello. Right. But there's just cameras everywhere inside Crypto.com. They catch
no doubt. You got to be careful, Cappy.
You
never know what they'll catch you doing, so don't pick your nose.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll catch me doing that because I do it a lot.
Yeah. I went over real quick with about like 20-something minutes on the clock and said hello to Reg and Kevin very quickly. And I actually told Kevin I needed to call him about something. So I told him I talked to him at the All-Star game or after the All-Star game.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know. Let me know what you need.
I got it.
I'd like to hear about it myself.
That's what you want. You just want to be a yenta. You want to know what I want to talk to Kevin Harlan about.
I like to know everything. I like to know a little about everything. What a night last night, though. I got to say, what a great vibe.
They kicked their ass. How about that? That's what they did.
Those. It's almost hard to believe. I was looking through some of the stats today, George, because yesterday you were asking Mike Trudell to give you the Trudell keys to the game.
And by the way, he nailed them. Okay, I don't remember the third key, but the first key was the three-point gap.
Right.
Okay, because Boston is so great at three-point shooting and the volume, right? The Lakers won the three-point battle, okay? They had more three-point makes than the Celtics,
right?
Which doesn't happen very often against the Celtics. And the rebounding gap, because the Celtics are the 8th best rebounding team, so one of the better rebounding teams, and the Lakers won the rebounding battle.
Yeah.
So the Lakers beat them in at least 2 of his keys, and I don't remember what the hell he said.
I think the third key was like points in the paint or, making
sure
and
they dominated that too?
Yeah. So I was looking through the numbers because it reminded me of what Trudell had said yesterday.
True keys to the game, Captain.
And I was impressed, the 3-point shooting where yesterday I think Trudell had asked the question, was how many three-pointers do they make per game? Right. And I think the number was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 17-ish, But then I said, yeah, but how many do they take? And the number was like
50.
Right. So yesterday in the game, check me on the numbers here, but I think Boston took 41 3-point shots. They made 14. and the Lakers took 35 3-point shots, so 6 fewer, but they made 15, one more. Correct. So for the Lakers to have out 3-pointed the Celtics,
yes,
that number in and of itself kind of gives you why the Lakers not only won, but frankly crushed the Celtics.
I also think I want to give JJ some credit on this. They really got a lot of their baskets. And DeAndre, I'm curious if you noticed this too. I don't know if you talked about this on Lakers Talk Daily, which you can catch, of course, here on 710 ESPN on the YouTube page. But they were really good in early offense, early in the shot clock. Like they were making sure to like pace themselves in a way that I hadn't seen them pace themselves offensively and get shots up early in the shot clock. They were hitting the shots. It felt like though the few possessions, particularly in the first half when the Celtics strung them out a little bit, that it was very messy. They had like, I believe 3 24-second shot clock violations in the first half and a couple of those in the first quarter. But when they were getting shots early, it was like they were punching first. Like if it was a fight, they were attacking first.
I like when they obviously limit them to one shot too. That was the good thing what the Lakers are doing, winning the rebounding battle. And like you said, getting out and run, getting out in transition. I mean, everyone was hitting their shots. So when your shots are falling, then you get a lot more energy on the defensive end as well.
Yeah. And by the way, Lindsay, for you, LeBron James, one of his dunks, I believe the second one, and I didn't call it in real time because I was watching the ball, unfortunately. I shouldn't have done that. I should kind of have my eyes wider in that scenario. But LeBron's second dunk, I believe, was a slot cut.
Oh, was it? I thought they don't. Cut. Who was it? Who was he?
It was Reeves was driving to the basket. LeBron cuts from the slot, so kind of from the wing. He's coming straight down on an angle, gets the ball on a bounce from Austin, and then yammed it home.
Oh, nice slot cut. That's a nice slot.
But
cut.
I wish I would have done it.
Did you use the phrase slot cut?
I did not because
Dang it.
I did not because I didn't. Again, I was watching Austin, and I didn't see LeBron until the last second. But normally I'm kind of looking at the whole half court, but for whatever reason, you know what it was? Because Austin was going underneath the basket. So like I was like, so I started like, okay, he's going down the baseline. I got to see where he's going. And I didn't keep a full eye on the whole half court, but I caught LeBron obviously cutting.
I think LeBron came from the right wing.
The right wing,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait a second. You guys talking about in the first quarter, the dunk over Cornette? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that was the first
No, that
one.
was the first one.
Okay.
This was the second one.
Okay, because there were 2 monster dunks. You know, George,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I sometimes when you have like a big game, you know, we'll hear the play-by-play, and then for the fun of it, we'll hear the play-by-play in Spanish or a different language, right?
En español con Pepe?
Sí. But I thought today what we might do is, since you were calling the game on the national radio airwaves of ESPN, the radio network,
right,
and Johnny I was doing the local broadcast, I thought we'd hear the difference in how it sounded locally versus nationally rather than in English versus Spanish.
They're the same plays is what
right.
you're saying.
So what we did is
a couple of them, yeah.
We took a couple of plays from last night's game, and we've got John's call, and then we've got your call. You want to hear them?
How about we do that in the next segment, though? Let's take a break so we can give it its due time. How about that? And then we can also react to the Raiders. This is a surprise to me because I did not know you were going to do this.
It's a surprise, exactly.
That's right, dude.
But Cappy, surprises do happen even in relationships, unfortunately.
They do.
So you can tell the folks about what they need to do in those potential scenarios with our friends at Real Fathers Rights.
Well, it was great to visit with Mark Reel and his fiance just a couple of nights ago down at the game. And Mark Reel is a guy who, look, he's real, for real. He's a real one, even by name. Mark Reel's a guy, he's been through it all before. You know, I asked Mark just the other night, I go, what got you into the world of divorce attorneys? You know, he went to law school. Why'd you become a divorce attorney? And it's because real life happens. And real life happens in love and marriage and divorce, even when you're a divorce attorney. And Mark has all this data that says that family court always seems to favor the lady over the guy, and he decided to create his practice to take care of the guys. So when you're going through a divorce or any family law matter, you have to make sure you've got the right team of attorneys to get you, the fellas, the justice and the happiness you deserve. So if you're going through it right now and you need them, let's get real with Real Fathers Rights. 323-870-1611, 323-870-1611, or Real, R-E-E-L, realfathersrights.com/710, Real Fathers Rights. the father's rights attorneys.
Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Monday morning at 9 a.m. after Greenie.
Where are your glasses? Psyched. I got them right here. I'm not. Okay. See, no, don't you start. I fixed me losing glasses.
I saw you get into, I don't want to say a panic. It wasn't quite a panic.
No, it was a panic.
You were like, where are my glasses? Where are they? Are they on my head? Are they on my shirt? I'm like, dude, just get one of those granny chains and hang them around your neck.
No, you sound like my wife. I'm not going to wear one of those chains. I'm not. I don't care how you dress it up.
Like you said, if you'd be thankful you're human and not a lion, or you would have been eaten by now.
I can still scrap. I just can't see up close.
You could granny chain it till you're in your 70s,
Lions
80s, 90s.
Don't need to read like little screens. But I can still scrap.
You've at least blown up your font, right?
No.
Why?
No, because it's stupid. It's stupid. It's just stupid.
You need to be able to see it.
Nope, it's stupid. It's like Isaac. I will not let the old men in. I can make my life easier, but I just won't do it.
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco
on 710 ESPN.
All right, I've got the chips and soda covered. What about you?
I'm bringing chicharrones and the MVP, guac. Northgate Gonzalez Market makes the best guacamole. It's made fresh every day with quality ingredients, so it's always delicious. And the best part, they make it exactly the way I want it. I get extra jalapenos for me and no jalapenos for the kids. We both win.
Score a touchdown every time with guacamole from Northgate Gonzalez Markets. It makes every party a winner. The guacamole from Northgate Gonzalez Market. It's the flavor that unites us. Northgate Gonzalez Market. Every visit has a story.
I'm just like the year of the snake, filled with charm, mystery, and grace. Whoops! Watch that step. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Lunar New Year freebie. Get a free Lucky Lunar New Year bracelet the 31st.
Number 2.
Ryan McKnight, live on Valentine's Day.
And the number 1 reason.
We're giving away a Lexus NX250. Be here on the 31st at 10 p.m. for your chance to win a Lexus.
Morongo, good times.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
And it is Sedano and Kap, your Friday afternoon. Today is National Lobster Thermidor Day. You know a guy who liked a nice lobster thermidor, I think? We start here. Happy birthday to the chairman of the Fun and Games Department here at 710, our general sales manager, and my work best friend, the one and only Tommy Lamb. Happy birthday, brother. Shouts out, as somebody once said. We know Tommy likes a little Starship, so let's play that for him, huh? Sedano and Kap continues your Friday afternoon right now.
Build this thing together, stand and stop forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Happy birthday, Tommy. Yeah, it was nice last night in the 710 suite. We had Tommy's birthday. We had Albert O's birthday last night. And Billy from the dessert cart came by with the rainbow cake. We lit candles. We sang songs. It was lovely, nice. George. Oh, it was
FOMO
beautiful.
Now.
Cappy, I don't know if you have ESPN on right now.
What are you watching?
South Carolina and LSU are playing. It's like a top 5 women's basketball matchup.
Yeah.
Dawn Staley, the legendary coach at South Carolina, she's wearing a Gucci sweater.
Oh, really?
Like,
Gucci
I feel
smoochy.
like that would be totally up your alley. Like, you'd be wearing, like, if you were like a coach, you'd be rocking a Gucci sweater.
I'm not watching right now, but you'll be impressed with what I'm about to tell you. What? I'm watching the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
You don't seem
How
interested.
did you get logged into ESPN Plus, Cappy?
See? Thank you, Lindsay.
How'd that happen?
Turns out my son has an ESPN Plus account.
I was going to say,
and
who'd
he
you
put
pay?
it on my office TV. That's exactly right.
You know who Dawn Staley is a fan of for the NFL?
Tell me the Eagles.
Oh, Jalen. Yeah, she's an Eagles fan. Yeah.
E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles!
go Birds.
She's from Philly. Yeah.
Let's go Birds.
Yeah, she's from Philly.
Let's go Birds is right.
Hey,
So,
Glenn.
George, let me go back to where we ended the last segment, okay?
Okay.
So just to set this up for everybody, our man Georgie Sedano here was doing the national radio broadcast of the Lakers-Celtics on ESPN Radio. Our man Johnny Ireland was doing the local broadcast, as he does every night. So instead of saying, hey, here's the call in English and here's the call in Spanish, here's the local call, here's the national call, so we can hear how two different broadcasters saw the same play. All right, Lindsay, which one do you want to start with? You want to start with the dunk?
With the dunk first.
Wait, is it a LeBron dunk?
Yes.
Yeah, LeBron dunk.
Okay.
LeBron taking his time out near half court, one-on-one against Al Horford. Two of the oldest guys in the league. Here is LeBron, picked up on a switch by Luke Cornett. LeBron down the middle all the way, slam dunk! Took it right at Cornett, and he backed off, and LeBron dunked it.
Now here's George.
There's Johnny I.
LeBron dribbling at the logo, directing traffic. James gets the screen from Hayes. Now switches on to Cornett, likes this matchup, drives into the paint, goes up, five, hammer dunk. LeBron James with 8 points. The Lakers up by 11.
Oh, I like it.
Good.
I like it. What I really liked about that call was when you described
LeBron James.
No, I liked it when George says
he likes that matchup.
He likes
yes,
that
I just
matchup.
like that part too.
He likes
Great
that
job painting the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good call, George.
He did
I
like
that.
the matchup.
He enjoyed that matchup
His eyes
very,
got
very
big
much.
when he saw Luke Cornett switch on him.
So the next one, we got the one of Dalton Connect's threes. I guess he had a lot of them.
He did have a couple.
Yeah,
a couple of big ones. Yeah.
This one was in the second quarter, I believe.
Right.
Here come the Lakers with 2:05 remaining in the half. Hachimura to connect for three. Good again. The Lakers lead the Celtics by 21 points.
Out to Vincent. Back to Hachimura as he crosses the timeline to connect. Not shy, lets it fly, and you see why. A three-pointer for Connect. 64-43, a 21-point lead for the Lakers.
Okay, Dr. Zeus, did you come up with that on the spot?
I did, actually.
Not shy. Let it fly. You see why.
Yeah. Great call.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, Dr.
that was a good
Seuss
one.
in the house.
Funny you mentioned that because when we were going through, me and DeAndre were going through because I recorded the whole game last night, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's so good.
I mean, let it fly. He ain't shy.
No,
you
he's
see
not
why.
shy.
We'll play it
He lets
again.
it fly.
Out to Vincent. Back to Hachimura as he crosses the timeline to connect. Not shy, lets it fly, and you see why. A three-pointer for Connect. 64-43, a 21-point lead for the Lakers.
Okay, Dr. Zeus, did you come up with that on the spot?
I did, actually.
That's a good call. That's fun. See, that's making it fun, man. That's good. Really good. And what I love
Monica's
is
very good. She does Knicks radio normally. She does work for ESPN too, but her other job is she's the analyst on Knicks radio, so she's very good on the radio. She's very easy to work with.
That was really good. I like that call. All right, here's the last one. You ready? So, final call of the game. Lakers about to win, 117-96. Here's Johnny I's call of how the game is going to come to a conclusion.
First, we need to preface this by saying that Mason and Greg and Ramona were all ripping John for his lack of enthusiasm. But
the end of the game was not like...
I mean, it was a total blowout.
Well, let's hear both, starting with John.
But Boston's going to drop to 7-5 in January. So clearly they have some things to work on if they're going to defend their title in a few months. We play them in Boston in March. Springer hits a three at the buzzer, and that's a final. Lakers 117 and the Celtics 96. And that's a final.
And that is a final. That is your final score. But
It is
listen,
a final.
I want to say this about John. Mason and Momo can complain about a lack of enthusiasm.
And that's a final.
Let me tell you something. The
25-point game or whatever.
Right. I mean, the game has been decided for a very long
ago.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, the Celtics emptied the bench with 7 minutes to go.
Right. The crowd was saying, Bronny, Bronny, Bronny. When you hear that chant,
now we
you
gotta
know the
listen to
game's
George.
over.
Okay, here's George.
Kata to inbound it to Springer. And we will count it down. That will do it. Springer does launch one and buries it. 117-96 will be your final score. So the Lakers, wire to wire, Monica, on this victory. will be
Really
your
good.
final score.
Yeah.
And that's a final.
Yeah, he buries it. Hey, really
He
good,
surprised
George.
me that he hit that shot at the end there.
Really good, man. Good broadcast. Really nice.
It was fun, yeah.
Laugh
know
is
I-
great. Kind of like Dr. Clappers.
Yeah?
Do you think?
Well, wait.
And
Anyway.
that's a final.
No,
By the way,
Final score.
after the game,
Yeah.
you know, JJ had some comments, right? Because we had heard about AD and LeBron's comments.
Mm-hmm.
And we, AD sat down with our guy Shams. Now your guy Shams, Cappy, as well. Let's not
I don't.
forget.
I mean, I don't know if we've become guys yet. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say we're on the verge of becoming colleagues. Let me put it to you
So
this
wait,
way,
you're not
George.
like tight like you are with McMenamin yet?
Well, Lindsay, I'm so glad you asked that because this gives me an opportunity to qualify the relationship. You ready? I'm not texting Shams today, hey, saw you on McAfee, thought it was a good appearance. Okay, I don't do that. I don't have communication with Shams in that way.
Right.
Whereas somebody who I am particularly close with, in this case, Brian Windhorst, I sent Wendy a text earlier today with a picture of him on
He's
TV
all bundled up.
looking like he's freezing his ass off in Paris, right? And I sent him a picture and I go, looks kind of warm over there. and I'm telling you, the thing about Windhorst is he replies to text faster than I reply to text. And I'm pretty fast at replying to text. But he right away comes right back at you. So I don't have a Wendy-esque relationship with Shams.
With Shams, right? Yeah.
Right.
Well, what was his reply to your text?
His reply was, let me tell you that.
Something witty, right?
His reply was, I've felt worse.
That sounds like something Brian would say.
Well, first off, they hired him.
That's true. They did. So you were saying, George, about what JJ had to say after the game.
Yeah, he kind of talked about how that game maybe is is indicative of them potentially having something, and maybe that they can search for some more reinforcements.
It's
I'm
funny
paraphrasing.
it's funny that he says that because when you guys got up yesterday to go over to the game, and I still had 30 minutes to keep the show on the air, I said one thing to Bergman, which is, I really want to see the Lakers win this game, and I think they're going to win this game. And Bergman was saying, no, they're going to get smoked. And he was like, and if they do win this game, then all this talk about, trades and reinforcements, the front office might look at LeBron and say, why do you need to make a trade? Why do we need reinforcements? Why don't you just play like that every night? To which, listen, all I can say about Boston is second night of a back-to-back. I know 3 guys didn't play the night before. It's a long trip that they're on. Yeah. And listen, that's one of those games, and this is why I said yesterday I thought the Lakers would win. Because that was one of those games where LeBron, AD, and by the way, Austin Reeves was great last night. They were going to give you everything they had last night. Mm-hmm. From an effort standpoint, from a desire standpoint. I'll ask it to you this way, George, since you were sitting there at courtside essentially watching this game. What do you think went wrong with Boston last night? Were the Lakers just great?
Yeah.
Or
Look,
was something wrong with Boston?
I think it's two things. I think there is a level of fatigue, right? Like, I think that played a role in it. But I also think the Lakers beat them at their own game. Like, JJ and I spoke before the game, like in our coaches meetings, and we talked about the things that Trudell talked about, right, on the show yesterday, just kind of the rebounding gap, the 3-point gap, and I wish I still had my notes. I would tell you exactly what he said, but it was something to the effect of that. Actually, I do remember on the 3-pointers, he said, and you'll love this, DeAndre. He said, we got to make sure if they're going to shoot threes that it's on the move, that it's not catch and shoot, because that's where they're most deadly. If you look at, he's like, if you look at their catch and shoot numbers, it's exponentially a higher percentage of makes off of catch and shoots when they're moving the ball and a guy has a chance to set his feet. Whereas on the move, they're not as good. And they did a good job of that, I thought, DeAndre. Like, they weren't getting a lot of set shots per se. The Lakers defensively were disruptive, particularly on the perimeter.
It came with their closeouts, too. I mean, closing out hard and making them put it on the ground and have to think twice as far as, like, okay, let's try to put it on the ground and drive. Because the Celtics don't like to really get to the basket. And like you said, they like to catch and shoot. So it was good that the Lakers were closing out hard and making them put it on the floor.
But that goes back to yesterday, when Mike Trudell started going through these keys, hey, you can't let him kill you with the 3. Okay, check, Lakers win. Hey, you got to be able to rebound the ball better. Check. Lakers win. You got to score more points in the paint. Great. Lakers win. That's why it turns into a big blowout like that. What I said to Mike yesterday was, I'm not hearing desire and effort. And I just thought last night there seemed to be a different energy level from the Lakers. Did you guys feel that?
That's the NBA though. Like the champs are coming to town. You're and they're your biggest rival. You're going to get up for that game. Like I don't think there's any question. The other thing he mentioned was the rebounding in regards to just kind of making sure everybody kind of takes part in the rebounding, and whether that's actually getting the ball, boxing out, things of that nature. And they did a nice job there too. I will say this. You asked me about Boston. So, I mean, Tatum just kind of looked off, right? Like Porzingis was the only one. And I actually strangely enough, I liked the strategy of let Porzingis get his, okay?
Is that why they put Max Christie on him?
Not just Max Christie. A lot of the guards were on him at times. Like, I mean, Gabe Vincent guarded him for a stretch, and even Austin guarded him for a stretch. But it was to keep AD out of foul trouble, which I thought was smart. And, those guys battled. Now, granted, Porzingis get those shots, but you'd rather Porzingis get those touches in the paint as opposed to them spreading it out from three. So I thought it was really smart.
Well, I mean, listen, you guys, you tell me. The Lakers probably played last night their best all-around game of the season.
No question about it, in my opinion.
For sure.
Their best game with J.J. Redick as coach, right?
Yes.
Both strategically from a coaching standpoint and from an energy execution standpoint, all in all, it was their best game of the year. Coming off what J.J. called their most professional game of the year when they're playing, a very downtrodden Washington team.
Yeah.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Is what we saw last night something that they're capable of duplicating? And I don't mean once, and I don't mean every night.
I think so, but I think it would help if Dorian Finney-Smith was healthy, if they had another guard who can kind of take some of the playmaking burden off of Austin and LeBron, if they had another big that wasn't Jackson Hayes, because, yes, Jackson Hayes had a solid game for Jackson Hayes, but I don't know if there's a level of consistency you can depend on there. So, yeah, I do think they're one or two players away from being, like, legitimately in the mix, I think, in the Western Conference.
Yep. I mean, listen, now when you see a game like last night, when Bergie would say to me yesterday, well, if they play really great, the front office is going to look at them and say, you don't need reinforcements because look how great you played. But so do I, because here's the deal. You ready?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
The opposite should actually happen.
Correct.
Because the opposite is the front office goes, if we're capable of doing that with this roster, what might we be capable of if we added two important pieces?
Correct. Yes. And I think that is absolutely the way that most teams look at it, is what I would say.
Yeah,
without knowing exactly what they're thinking of, although Ramona already told us that they're kicking the tires on stuff. So
good win last night. And by the way, George, while you were calling the game, it was on like Donkey Kong last night in the 710 suite.
I'm sure it was.
Oh, man, it was great. People were in there having a great time. We had all kinds of business partners in there. We had birthday parties going on.
Not us, though. Once again, me, DeAndre, and George, all MIA.
Well, I mean, George was there at the game.
Well, not in the suite, though.
No, well, he's busy.
I mean, it would have been hard to call the game.
I'm just saying that me and DeAndre, once again, 2 nights in a row, have FOMO. From your antics in the suite, Cappy.
Yep. By the way, you can listen all day for your chance to experience Lakers versus Warriors at Cosm, Los Angeles. Enjoy immersive games in the Dome and the wall-to-wall multi-view display in the hall at Cosm, the ultimate home for basketball fans. Limited tickets available through Cosm.com or the Cosm mobile app. Call right now, 877-710-ESPN, for your chance to win a pair of tickets there to watch the Lakers and the Warriors tomorrow at Cosm, only on and from 710 ESPN. So 877-710-ESPN. We're going to hook you up. You can go to Cosm to watch Lakers-Warriors, and you're going to feel like you're at the Chase Center, basically. Seriously. All right, Cappy, coming up next.
Tell me.
Ippei Mizuhara.
Really? Ippei is next.
Big trouble. Like, and by the way, a lot of people are going to owe Shohei Ohtani a huge apology. Okay? Because Ippei, I told you the Feds never lose, and we're about to find out next.
whether you need a big stop late in the game.
Edwards downloaded DiVincenzo. Blocked by Davis again. Another block for Anthony Davis. Here's Reeves. Lay it up and in.
A 3-ball from downtown.
Davis for 3. Good! Anthony Davis!
Or a power slam in the paint.
LeBron down the middle. Alley-oop! AD for the dunk.
AD is doing it all this season.
We're going to empower him as much as he wants to be empowered. If he wants to be first team All-NBA and he wants to be in the MVP conversation all year long, we're going to empower him to do that.
You know, for me, I'm just trying to be aggressive and do what I have to do to help the team win. You know, Jay want me to be the hub, and, you know, but my job remains the same, to come out and be aggressive and let the team feed off of that.
LeBron's got it. Full head of steam. LeBron to AD. Slam dunk.
Catch every thrill from AD in the Lake Show this season, right here on 710 ESPN.
Next Gen is the official plumbing, heating, AC, and electrical company of SoCal sports fans. With thousands of 5-star reviews, it's no wonder that Next Gen is the name SoCal trusts for home comfort and reliability. Are you returning home after the LA wildfires? Next Gen understands the challenges you're facing, and they're there to help. For just $88, Next Gen is offering LA residents a whole home safety inspection to ensure your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems are safe and ready to welcome you home. They're there 7 days a week because your family's safety and comfort are always a top priority. Don't miss out. Call 833-3-NEXTGEN today to take advantage of this limited time offer. Next Gen is the name you can trust for home comfort and reliability. That's 833-3-NEXGEN or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com to schedule your $88 whole home safety inspection today. Don't wait. This offer is available now through the end of January. Call NextGen today and take the first step toward a safer, more comfortable home.
NEXGEN, call 833-3-NEXTGEN.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text LIKE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text LIKE to 42424. That's LIKE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
And it is Sedano Kap Friday afternoon. Happy 46th birthday, Tatiana Ali. And he turns 84 today. Happy birthday to the legend, Neil Diamond. Sedano Kap continues your Friday afternoon right now.
Wow.
84.
Yeah. I love Tatiana Ali, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, she had a good song. Remember she had like one pop song around like the probably late 90s, early 2000s?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
She was in the First Prince of Bel-Air,
Yeah,
though. That's
she was-
where she's most famous for.
Right. But
Oh, really?
she
was
had
the
her
sister.
She tried her hand at pop music.
The little sister. She was the little sister because there was two sisters. Yeah.
Is this Layla Ali's sister?
No relation.
man.
The boxer?
No, man.
No.
Oh.
Didn't you not watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ever?
I did, but I don't know which one it is.
Ashley
She's
Banks.
the youngest. She was the youngest one.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say Ali, I think Muhammad.
Right.
You know, if the man wants to be called Muhammad Ali, damn it, respect his vicious and call the man Muhammad Ali. That's who I think of.
Yeah, she was Ashley, I believe, is the name of
so
the
I said
character.
Ashley Banks.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
George, before we get to
you owe
Ippei-
Shohei Ohtani.
Well, I don't know about that, but let me
do?
say one thing. Let me say one thing real quick.
Yeah.
I received in the mail.
Oh, in like snail mail?
Yes, from a listener.
Oh.
An envelope.
Uh-oh, how did they get your like at the station or at home?
At the station.
Oh, okay.
It's delivered to the station. I made a mention to you, George, about a week and a half ago. Just a very brief mention, like totally not something we expanded on at all, which was that on Super Bowl Sunday, I was going to go run a 10K. By the way, big deal, but I'm not like trained for it. I haven't gone out running once this whole year. I'm just going to go out and run a 10K on Super Bowl Sunday, and I decided I would dedicate that to raising some money for people in our building who've been affected by the fires.
Correct.
Okay. I received in the mail cash from a listener.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but what's awesome about it is the amount of money we're talking about. This guy didn't send me a $20 bill in the mail. You want to know how much money this person put in cash in the mail? 100?
Yeah.
Like cash money as in like dollar bills?
Yes, cash.
What?
Straight cash,
That's
homegirl.
crazy.
Yeah. How much? George says 100. Anybody else?
It's got to be a lot if it's, you know.
I say 1,000.
No, 1,000, a little less than 1,000.
$10,000.
No, ma'am.
200.
$550 in
Wow.
cash.
That's awesome.
That's very nice. That's also very dangerous to send that in cash.
I understand. And then to send it to me in cash is even more dangerous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But my goal was to raise money for people that work at 710 who actually need the money.
Right. Did you hand it off to somebody?
I only got it yesterday, and I will literally be handing the money to the person who needs it based on their loss during the fire.
Okay.
And so I just want to say to everybody who's doing anything to help, man, that is really generous. I mean, super generous. And I'm going to go out there and run that 10K again. Not that it's anything spectacular. I mean, if I was running like a 100-mile ultra marathon, I'd be impressed with myself. But it's only a 10K. Nonetheless, want to use it to help. And what this listener did, his or her name will remain anonymous. 550 big ones. Can't thank you enough. You know who you are.
When is the
Awesome.
10K, Cappy?
Super Bowl
Great stuff,
Sunday.
Cappy.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Wait, you're doing it at the Super Bowl?
No, I'm going to do it in.
No, just the weekend. There's always a bunch of races on the weekend.
Oh, I
Right.
didn't know. I thought that you were going to be there for the Super Bowl.
I'm leaving the Super Bowl
okay.
Saturday
Yeah.
morning, the day before.
Gotcha.
All right,
Probably
George.
a good idea.
Ippei, George.
Hey,
Ippei.
hey, real quick before we get to Ippei, let me tell people about my home away from home, LAX. Changes arriving daily, reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the traveler experience. The LAX economy parking structure now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. On my last trip, you may have heard me say, I got a full charge. All right? I had almost no charge because I was a dope and forgot to charge the day before. Full charge when I came back. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding. Who doesn't want to get to their flight faster? And a new facility will soon have all major rental car brands under one roof when your friends and family come to visit. If you're local, you don't even need a car to get to LAX, all right, moving forward, because the People Mover train is coming, and it'll connect travelers to LA Metro. So you take the Metro to the Century Station, People Mover train pick you up there right to your terminal. That's how it'll work. For more information, check out their website, flylax.com. For more info, that's flylax.com. All right, so Ippei Mizuhara. The New York Times had this. They have uncovered audio from the federal government where Ippei, remember when the whole thing happened, all the money, all the stuff, he stole the money, blah, blah, blah. And there was a lot of people wondering like, oh, I don't buy it. I think Ohtani is doing all this and blah, blah, blah. And he's culpable and they're just covering for him. And we sat here and yelled and screamed for a week about, like, why would the federal government not just indict Shohei Ohtani? Like, who cares? Like, they don't care that he plays baseball. You know what I mean? Like, the federal government got involved when Pete Rose was gambling, so why wouldn't they get involved with Shohei Ohtani? So, again, the New York Times uncovers this audio. This is literally Ippei acting to be Shohei because Ippei is locked out of Shohei's bank account online.
Who am I speaking with? Shohei Ohtani. Thank you. How may I help you? So I tried to log into online banking, and it told me that it's not available to me at this time. I need a call. Sure, I can take a look into that. Alrighty. And could you tell me the name of the payee and the amount of the transaction, please? The person I'm sending to? Yes. It's for $200,000. Thank you. Alrighty. Now, recently we come across a trend of fraud and scams, so we have been monitoring the online transactions closely to make sure our clients are not the victim of either. What is the reason for this transaction? For a car loan. Okay. You said it's for a car loan? Yes. Okay. What is your relationship to the payee? He's my friend.
So that's the end of the audio. At least, well, there's a longer version of it if you go to the New York Times' website that has the entire call. But nonetheless, that doesn't sound like Shohei Ohtani at all. It sounds exactly like Ippei. And again, like this to me, it vindicates Shohei in a lot of ways. And again, you can say you don't need to apologize. I don't remember. I feel fairly certain, Cappy, you were very skeptical about this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misremember this. But I know there were Lindsay and I had this conversation earlier. And Lindsay, you said this changed your mind too. Now that you've heard the audio,
I said, one of the biggest questions I had was like, how did he have access to do all of this? How did he not know he wasn't getting phone calls or whatever? So, in my opinion, now after hearing that, I feel like I do owe Shohei an apology because I thought maybe, Shohei most likely had to know about this in some way, shape, or form just because of how banks work and fraud protection and blah, blah, blah. But if this dude's calling and the bank's clearly buying it because they gave him the money, right, then I believe Shohei now.
Well, what was the end result of this call to the bank?
Well, he transferred like $17 million.
Right.
Right.
In this call,
in different transactions.
Yes.
But in this transaction, he got the $200,000.
He did. That's confirmed that he got the $200,000
this was
transfer.
one of the many transactions.
One of the many transactions he did, yes.
Yeah. And by the way, if I worked for the bank, I would have asked a couple of questions.
And don't they have like security questions? Like, what is your mother's maiden name or something?
Like, don't you have a PIN number that you're supposed to give or something like that? I don't know. It sounds a little weird. By the way, to me, this story's like over and done with, So, like, I think it's interesting that they're bringing this stuff out.
Because there's an ongoing investigation still.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy's going to jail.
Well, you know what? If you are that desperate, and by the way, based on the amount of money that he was gambling, you
Clearly
probably
was.
were. Yeah. You'll do whatever it takes, right? And if that means calling the bank and trying to impersonate somebody else, I guess you have to find out, like, he must have had access to everything to give them enough information for them to open up the accounts, right?
Right. And that you can blame Shohei and his people on. But ultimately, he did have the ability to get the money.
Well, that's quite a scheme this guy had. I mean, listen, you thought he was a talented interpreter. Apparently, he's a whole lot more than a talented interpreter. This guy knows how to work the banking system as well.
Yeah.
Way to go, Ippei.
I can't wait for the documentary on this.
Oh, there's definitely.
It's inevitable, yeah.
For sure, there will be one. Yes, there's no doubt about that. By the way, speaking of docs, before we go to break, there's a cool doc coming out about the Olympic basketball.
I saw a trailer for that.
Summer. It's on Netflix. Yeah, it's the same people that did the Kobe one. The Redeem Team one, which was the one Kobe was on, or one of the ones Kobe was on, the first one he was on. But it looks fantastic. So speaking of documentaries, there's that. All right, coming up next, Cappy, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll to the Raiders and the Rams. Will Matthew Stafford be back? All that. Kirk Morrison at 4:15, 710 ESPN.
This is attorney Joseph S. Normand. I'm deeply saddened by the devastation caused by the fires in our community. If you've suffered losses due to the Eaton wildfire, you may be entitled to file a compensation claim. These are complex claims. It's crucial to have an experienced legal team on your side. Please don't hesitate to call me anytime at 213-747-2000, 213-747-2000, or normandlegal.com.
Hey, John Ireland here. If you're looking to sell your home, call Seller's Advantage. They'll make you a cash offer, no need for repairs. They buy as is. With Seller's Advantage, there are no agents. They can close in days, and they buy with cash. They'll even offer a $10,000 advance to help with moving and other expenses. Check out their reviews online and call for a no-obligation offer at 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-2747, and visit sellersadvantage.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station.
710 ESPN.
Sedano and Kap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Take it away, Linz.
Thanks, Sedano. All right, guys, so guess what? We've got some good weather news for once here in LA this weekend. It's going to rain. Yeah,
we need that. That's for sure.
Well, only issue is with the dry winter that we've had and the fires, of course, that leaves potential for some mudslides. So hopefully it doesn't
here
rain
comes the next part,
too much. And if we just need just enough to put out all the fires, and that's it, and not for it to continue going and going, because then we don't want the mudslide. So be careful out there this weekend. It's going to rain, but also be happy.
I know that's the worst part, right? We're desperate for rain. The earth and the ground desperately needs the moisture. Yeah. And then once you go, oh, good, it's going to rain, then you go, oh, no, bad, because this is going to turn into something worse. Or, not worse, but bad afterwards. So, I hope it all works out this weekend. Need that rain desperately. Because, by the way, the fires now, there's just so much dryness in Southern California and so much wind. Yeah. They're not isolated to just L.A. County anymore. I mean, a couple months ago, it was Orange County. Right now, I got friends down by the border. Down in San Diego, really down by the border of Mexico, they'll show them videos from behind their house with the flames, just a few hundred yards away. So no matter where you are, no matter where you're listening, just be careful out there,
No question about it, Cappy, for sure. All right, Cappy, let's talk Pete Carroll.
Yes, sir.
So look, I think everybody likes Pete, right? There's no question about it. I think he's a hard guy not to like. And he certainly has a great track record with USC here, and then, of course, the Seahawks. The only thing I'm concerned about is leave it to the Raiders to hire the guy who's about to turn 74 years old. You know what I mean? I just don't know how, this is a real rebuild. This is not, yes, the defense is good, but there's always going to be stuff you have to tinker with because it's just free agency and the nature of the business. This is not like a cosmetic fix for the Raiders. And even if they were to find a way to draft a QB this season, then you still have to groom said QB. So while I think they will be better under Pete Carroll than they were last year, I just don't think this is a quick fix. And I hope it works. I hope that, he does turn them around, because I think that team, that franchise, that fan base, and the league for that matter, desperately needs that franchise to be good, because it's no different than the Lions. Maybe not as bad as the Lions, obviously. But when you get these teams that have had such a rough stretch of poor play, and they are proud franchises in their particular case, that would be a cool resurgence. And I hope Pete is able to pull it off. I just am a little leery of it happening in the timeline that's needed.
Okay, well, let me come back to you with some opening thoughts on this before we play a little ping pong and go back and forth. First of all, unbelievable hire by the Raiders.
Phenomenal.
Raider fans, rejoice. You finally have a real coach. I don't mean to knock Antonio Pierce, and it's not intended to knock him. Here's what I mean. When Pete Carroll walks through the door for his first team meeting, every single player in that meeting room says, that's the guy who won the Super Bowl in Seattle. That's the guy who also should have given the ball to Marshawn Lynch at the goal line and then lost the Super Bowl the following year. But that guy's been to the Super Bowl twice. That's the same guy that coached at USC and coached Heisman Trophy winners, national champions, etc. Pete Carroll walks through the door, and it doesn't matter if he's 64 or 74. Everybody in that locker room knows Pete Carroll's reputation and his resume. It's instant respect. That's number one. Number two, this is not an overnight fix. You're 1,000% right, okay? But can we agree that a good coach can teach an average team how to win in situations when they're almost assured to lose when there's a bad coach? And an example of that would be, look what the Chargers were under Brandon Staley. Look what the Chargers became under Jim Harbaugh. It's the difference between a national champion and a guy who's been to a Super Bowl versus a guy who was bar mitzvahed last week. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, but I would say there's one gigantic difference between those two scenarios.
Of course there's a gigantic difference. We all know what it is. The fact that the Raiders don't have the talent, and specifically they don't have a quarterback. You're 1,000% right. But let's go back to the beginning of Pete Carroll in Seattle. You know how many years it took Pete Carroll to turn the Seahawks into a good team? And I don't mean a Super Bowl team. I just mean a good team.
I vaguely remember. It took,
well, I'll remind you.
Yeah.
His first 2 years, he was 5-11.
Right.
And then he became 7-9. So it took Pete Carroll 3 seasons to make the Seahawks respectable.
I don't think you're going to get – I mean, I don't know if he's going to have that kind of time here.
No. Here's the kind of time he's going to have, George. He signed a 3-year contract with a 4th-year option. Right. At the end of 3 years, the Raiders will reevaluate and say, have we gone 5-11, 5-11, 7-9, and we think we're on the verge because we finally have a quarterback? Or are the Raiders going to say, we went 5-11 or 5-12, we went 6-11, and we went 7-10, and we just don't see improvement? So they'll make a decision after 3 years, especially when Pete Carroll at that point will be 78 years old. But they finally have a legit coach. Now, they may have had a legit coach when they had Gruden, but that whole thing got blown up in their face. So think about the AFC West, George. You've got Andy Reid, the best coach in the NFL. You've got now Sean Payton, a Super Bowl champion, and a guy who's turned around the Denver Broncos in 2 years with a rookie quarterback. You've got Jim Harbaugh, who turned the Chargers from a 5-win team to an 11-win team.
The turn of the worm, yes.
And now you've got Pete Carroll,
right,
a Super Bowl champion, a multi-time national champion.
Great division of coaches, yes.
Instantaneous credibility for the Raiders as they recruit free agents.
Yeah.
And as they try and convince their own team that they've got that we can be winners with the right coach.
Right. So now the question is, what are you going to do at quarterback? Are you going to bring in Russell Wilson for a year?
It's a great question. And by the way, you mentioned Russell Wilson. Of course, that's the natural connection, right? They won a Super Bowl together. They were in a Super Bowl together. Yeah. And he'll probably be available, right? There are other options.
By the way, those two did not end pretty.
Did not end pretty at all. That's exactly right. Yeah. But I'll just say this, that there are other options out there. I'll give you another one. You ready?
Give me another one, Cappy.
Think about this one, since you're trying to make connections. Sam Darnold?
Oh, Sammy.
I mean, if I said to you, hey, look, you're not going to get Cam Ward and you're not going to get Shedeur Sanders because you don't have the 1 or 2 pick or the 3 or 4 pick. But Sam Darnold, coming off his best season as an NFL player, and maybe you draft a guy that's going to be your eventual quarterback.
Right. But the thing is, like, as I look at, you're going to take like Jalen Milroe, right, and say that's our project for the next 2 years while Sam Darnold is your quarterback?
Possible.
Yeah.
And by the way, if it's not Sam Darnold, maybe it's a Kirk Cousins. I mean, I'm just throwing ideas at you for veteran quarterbacks.
I'd much rather have Sam Darnold at this stage than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'd rather bet
Kirk
on
is
Darnold.
Closer to being done.
I agree. I think though that what Pete Carroll brings is instant credibility. Let me ask you this: You're kind of
the Raiders are so dumb though. They won these meaningless games. They were in the driver's seat to get the number 1 pick.
Listen, nobody, not a coach, not a player, nobody cares about the draft the following year. In particular,
the organizations do. The coaches and players don't. Of
course not. Of course.
Right.
I just think it's such a brilliant hire. And I know that people are going to look at Pete's age, but I'm going to say this.
But that's why the Colts were brilliant. I know they'll deny it to the end, but when they got Andrew Luck, there was no question. Kerry Collins was like, seriously, like, that guy was out playing golf somewhere. And all of a sudden, he's like 40-something years old. And he comes back to play because Dan Orlovsky was their quarterback, our colleague here. No offense to Dan. He wasn't like a guy who was out there winning a lot of ball games,
Yeah, but I want to say one thing about Pete and being 74.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, I know we think it does because it's a young man's game. Listen, Dan Quinn thought he'd never get a head coaching job because, oh, my God, he was over 50.
No, but that's different. 50
I know.
74.
But let me ask you a question. Go back and look at the last. Go look at the last 15 coaches.
Yeah, they're all young coordinator types.
And that's why most people
look at Pete.
Because
it's just cheaper, too, on top of that.
But most people look at Pete and they go, he's too old.
Right.
But I'm here to tell you
look at Belichick's got to be happy, or do you think he's infuriated right now?
No, I think that.
Well, he didn't want the Raider job, so there's that.
But Pete Carroll is about energy, even at 74.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll will bring out the best in his players because his philosophy of competition every day in practice, it'll make you a better player, it'll make you a better player, it'll make us a better team if we all compete. Pete Carroll is going to bring an instant, legit energy to the Raider organization that it has not had. And then they'll have to go out and they'll get a veteran quarterback in all likelihood.
And they'll have to draft
get a
someone
young
in the
guy.
second round because you're not going to take one in the first round
Right,
because
probably
there's only
not.
two worth taking in the first round.
Probably not. Or maybe they decide to go get a Sam Darnold. And they say, you know what? We'll take Sam. We'll make him we'll put him a 3-year deal. Pete's got a 3-year deal, and we'll have Aiden O'Connell as our backup, just as an example.
Aiden O'Connell.
But and listen, not that I think he's good, but my point is
enough of Aiden O'Connell, buddy.
Pete Carroll will change the Raiders, and let me make a declaration. That's right.
Is this
Not
like
as-
Pete Carroll will change the Raiders, kind of like Sean Payton wouldn't change the Broncos?
No, this is the opposite. This is Pete Carroll will do everything that Sean Payton has done that I did not think Sean Payton would do. Let me tell you something right now.
I remember the only reason I bring that up is because you were really anti-Sean Payton, like so much so that you're like, I don't even get it. He won a Super Bowl a bazillion years ago. It was like hot take Cappy that
What
day.
else did I say? I said Sean Payton will be exactly what Mike McCarthy is. A guy who won a Super Bowl 15 years ago, and everybody hires him because they think they've got some kind of special sauce. Pete Carroll got special sauce. And here's a declaration, not a statement,
A declaration?
not a comment. Yeah, not a hot take, none of those things.
Una declaración?
See, this is a declaration.
Yeah.
You're looking at a brandly new minted Raider fan, people.
Oh, here we go.
I'm all in. I'm all in. Because let me tell you something. When Pete Carroll was at USC and Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford, there was a great rivalry between those two guys. You put Jim Harbaugh on my most hated team, the Chargers, and then you give me my favorite coach, Pete Carroll, to the Raiders in the same division, you're looking at a Raider fan, people.
Okay.
Raiders!
Hey, Mateo, who is what logo is that? What team is that?
Hi, Mateo. The Raiders.
He can't hear you, but it's okay.
You tell him, Mateo. Hi, Mateo. It's Uncle Cappy. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Yeah, you want to go wrestle in the parking lot again, you and me? I'll wrestle you in the parking lot, fool.
But last time, when I was at Kelly's Quarter, I played football, but no one passed me the ball, and no one let me get touchdowns.
Oh, I will definitely pass you the ball, and you will score 5 touchdowns in the game. Should we go play?
It was at a practice.
Okay, well, we'll do it at practice. That's how you get better. You practice first.
Mateo, you got to tell the coach, throw me the ball. I'm open.
I was.
Yeah.
Then I just
Keep telling him.
George,
did
if you're
like
going to bring Mateo on the
96
show.
times.
Yeah.
What did he say?
What did you say, Mateo?
I just said like 96 times.
Oh, 96 times. You got to tell him 97.
They didn't pass it to me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Say, I'm open.
Next time. Yeah.
I did.
Man, Mateo's getting hosed over here.
George, if you're going to bring on Mateo and put him on the air, should I get my 24-year-old and sit him on my lap?
Yeah, I mean, feel free.
I mean,
sure he'll
dueling
wanna do
sons, dueling sons on the show.
that. Yeah.
Or
Justin,
Jack
come
the
sit on my
Frenchie.
lap. Come sit on my lap, Justin.
Justin home right now?
Yeah, he's home.
We should put him on. We want to ask him about, what it's like living back with Dad again.
Mm-hmm.
I like Justin.
Well, he's a big DeAndre fan.
That's right.
Big DeAndre fan. Loves DeAndre.
He's not a big Chris Morales fan, though, is he?
No, he's off the Morales train.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
He used to be on the Morales train. He's off the Morales train right now. All right, George, I'm going to give you this. You ready? Kirk Morrison's coming up. We're going to talk about his former team,
actually,
the Raiders.
4:30. He's changing.
Oh.
He just texted
Right.
and said he's running a little behind.
Yeah, he's running a little behind. So we're going to do a little radio Tinder before that.
All right.
How about that?
All I know is this. Raider Nation Unite.
Okay.
I'm going out. I'm getting a brand new Raider hat.
Yeah.
I may get some of those cool shoulder pads with the spikes on them. Getting some of that face makeup. And it is on, Raider fan. Pete Carroll going to turn his whole thing around. You watch. 3 years.
Hold on. Mateo, go take Benny with you.
Raiders going to win the Super Bowl in 3 years.
You want to see Benny? You can put Benny.
Don't
here
get
real quick.
don't be a hater, DeAndre.
Come on, Cap.
Be a believer.
I ain't believing in no Raiders.
Of course you're not. You don't have to believe in the Raiders. You believe in Pete Carroll.
I don't know, man. I'm not. I think it's good for the Raiders. I don't think it's like some sort of panacea, is what I would say.
Good for the Raiders and amazing for the AFC West. Has there ever been a division where all 4 coaches are rock stars?
No, I'm sure there has. I mean, you go back to like the old NFC East days where you had Parcells, Gibbs, Buddy Ryan, and Jimmy Johnson.
That's a group of rock stars right there. It is.
See that? Look at that,
But
right off the
that's
dome.
pretty good. That's
Boom.
pretty good. Hey, you're like Dr. Seuss. Very good. Good job.
All right, Cappy, so let's do some Radio Tinder, all right? And don't forget, folks, all right, make sure you're listening all day for your chance to win Lakers-Warriors tickets to watch them at Cosm tomorrow. We're going to give some more tickets away later this hour, so stick around for that. All right, Kirk Morrison, 4:30, Radio Tinder, a little early, next.
It's the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Every weekday morning at 9 a.m.
I was trying to explain this about the difference between Sean McVay and what's his butt, kneecap guy in Detroit. Well, I forgot what. Kneecap guy?
I love what's his butt.
Yeah, what's his butt? What's his butt? You know what I'm saying? What's his face?
I need to incorporate that into my own vernacular.
What's his butt? What's his face? That guy up there.
It's Trav and D-Far.
Back Monday morning after Greeny on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Attention fire victims. I'm Garen Majarian, an attorney at Majarian Law Group. If your property was damaged or destroyed by the recent wildfires, you are probably confused and concerned about your path to recovery. With the massive amount of lawyer advertising, before you retain a lawyer, it is important that you speak to the lawyer, not a clerk, not an assistant. Speak to a lawyer who will come out to your property and handle your case. At Majarian Law Group, we have the experience in handling fire cases. We are here to guide you, and we will provide you an honest and fair evaluation about your potential claims. Call us today for a free consultation at 800-485-1049. If your home was destroyed, you may also have claims against third parties, such as Southern California Edison. Call us today, 800-485-1049. 800-485-1049.
Hey, it's DeMarco. I know a thing or two about Super Bowls. I've been there, won that. If you want to experience the big game like a pro, Absolute Sport has you covered. From premium tickets to exclusive parties to first-class accommodations, their Super Bowl packages are the MVP of the fan experience. Don't sit on the sidelines. Be a part of the action. Go to us.absolute-sport.com. That's ABSOLUT-sport to lock in your spot. Absolute Sport, it's how champions watch the Super Bowl.
Next Gen is the official plumbing, heating, AC, and electrical company of SoCal sports fans. And as the wildfires continue to affect us here in the Los Angeles area, Next Gen is committed to helping you protect your home and loved ones. And at Next Gen, they're offering a free standard 1-inch air filter to LA homeowners who have an existing heating or AC unit. Homeowners can receive a standard 1-inch air filter for free just by calling 833-3-NEXT-GEN or Next Gen Air and Plumbing today. This offer is available now through the end of January.
NEXGEN, call 833-3-NEXT-GEN.
The new year is here. Time for change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI with My Computer Career in just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
And it is Sedano Kap, Friday afternoon, Radio Tinder time. Before we play a TV theme we like, on this day in 1995, live coverage of the O.J. Simpson trial began. Daytime network soap operas, and there were a lot of them back then, they were preempted for almost 9 months. How about that? And she turns 38, which makes me feel old. Happy birthday to Mishka Barton. And of course, she played Marissa Cooper on The O.C. You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Take it away, producer Lindsay.
Wow.
Oh, wow, is right. I love this theme song to the OC.
Great theme song.
It is.
Really love
theme song. You should play it, Cappy, for. Well, the Raiders aren't in California anymore. I was going to say for when your heel turn to Raider Cappy.
Well, I'm just going.
That's
going
to be your new nickname now. There's Raider something. You could be
Right.
Raider Cappy.
Right. Me and Raider Rubin are going to hang out together. Raider
Now,
Rubin.
what happens if your boy Van Pelt gets a job somewhere?
Oh, I'm going to be a fan of that team too.
Oh,
but
what
hold
if
on.
he gets hired to be the OC of the Raiders?
Well, don't you think that I'm already on top of that? As soon as this
Oh,
announcement
yeah,
was
there's a
made
connection,
earlier
right?
this morning,
Right?
As soon as this announcement was made, I texted Pete Carroll this morning and said, Pete, over the years, how many times have we talked about Alex Van Pelt? Now is the time to hire him as your offensive coordinator. So I'm already on it.
What'd he say?
guys. Well, I didn't really expect him to get back to me on a busy day like today. I just was putting a bug in his ear.
Oh, okay.
So,
Do they know each other at all?
not
Just
really.
got the Cappy connection?
Not really. There's just the Cappy connection. That's it. But I am now consumed with becoming a Raider fan.
Good for you, Cappy.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a Raider fan. Now I can be a Raider fan.
Why? Because of Pete?
Oh, I'm all Raider because of Pete. 100%.
But doesn't Harbaugh kind of own Pete a little bit?
What do you mean by that?
Traditionally.
What do you guys
Yeah,
mean?
remember they had that handshake. Remember that awkward
Right.
handshake when
And
Stanford
Pete
beat
said to
USC?
him-
And he's like,
right.
"What's your deal?" And he's like,
He
"What's
said,
your
"Yeah."
deal?"
He said, "What's your problem?" He goes, "What's my problem? What's your problem?"
He
That's
said
right.
deal. It wasn't
Well,
a-
I don't know. I don't know what I would have to go back and look and see what is their head-to-head record to say that Harbaugh owns.
Well,
Pete.
I mean, Pete definitely should have more wins over Harbaugh's
I would
Stanford
think so.
teams.
Well, then how do you call it?
But
owning him?
the fact that Stanford actually beat USC it goes to show you how good a coach Harbaugh is.
Well, and there were years where Stanford had been really good in football.
Well, right, because he had a bunch of guys there.
Mm-hmm.
And even after he left, I mean, they still had Andrew Luck.
Oh man, I'm going to be such a big Raider fan. I'm going to start hosting Raider parties on the weekend.
Look at that, Raider
You know?
Cappy
Oh,
in
yeah.
full effect. I kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
it. All right,
Oh yeah.
take it away, Lindsay.
Thanks, Sedano. All right, guys. So a few years back, famous singer Adele, who's also she's engaged, right, to Rich Paul.
Rich
Are they
Paul,
engaged or
yes.
married? At least engaged. We don't know if
Engaged,
they're
I
officially
believe,
married.
yes.
Yeah. So she did an interview with Anderson Cooper on CBS's 60 Minutes, where she did a walkabout of the property that she was living in at the time, which was a 10-bedroom home in West Sussex, Southern England. Well, she rented this house for years, and recently, her rental contract expired, and the man who owned the property is now trying to sell this gigantic 10-bedroom house. But he says that it's made it almost impossible to sell since Adele said in that interview that she thought the house was haunted.
Oh no.
So he said that due to these rumors that she started about the house being haunted, nobody wants to buy it anymore. So I wanted to ask you guys, would you ever buy a house that was quote-unquote haunted? Swipe left or swipe right? George, you go first.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I feel like every house has a story, and you don't know. There's plenty of times you can get a house, you don't know what the hell happened in there. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
What if you knew? What if there was a rumor that it was haunted and there was a famous person that propagated such rumor?
You know what? If I'm getting a
rumor
good deal, I'm getting a good deal. All right? I'm Hispanic, man. We'll do un despojo. You know what I'm saying? We'll get an espiritista in there. She'll take care of it. We're good.
So like when they throw the water on it? The blessed
Yeah,
water?
they do some stuff. You know what I mean? And they take care of it. They take care of the spirits. They tell them to get out of there.
It's not like Kyrie and the Sage?
Sort of.
Okay.
Sort of. In the same family, I would call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of being in the same family, you hugging it out with Kyrie the night
Hey.
before the game.
I was gonna bring that up next, but yes, George. So, Cappy, you gotta tell him the story.
So he's in layup line. I'm standing there because we were getting ready to rehearse.
Oh, we caught it
all. Our open, and he. Yeah, I know. Cappy sent it to me.
It was funny because DeAndre is the one who caught it. We were doing the show with Trudell, and DeAndre says during the break, he's like, "Hey, you guys, come here," because he had paused it. And we watched it, and it was very funny.
Kyrie is coming back towards me where I was about to rehearse. I give him a head nod, and he brought it in. So I brought it in at that point.
But it was caught on video in the background.
Yes, because NBA the countdown show was going on, and they were showing the warm-ups on the big screen behind them. Yes,
right. And the Hebrew brother over here is like, "Yo, I mean, what's up?
I mean, what do you want me to do, Cappy? He's coming up to say hi.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Give him the Heisman?
Right, I'm not going to give him a Heisman.
I mean, if you gave him the Heisman, you'd be like, hold on a second, Kyrie.
You weren't mad when I was interviewing him in the finals last year.
Yeah, I didn't like that either, but I understood it. You're like, hey, hold on, Kyrie. Cappy sees me hugging it out with you. He ain't going to love it.
But Kyrie is the one who kind of brought it in. Like, George kind of like went to
I did. I
him
wasn't
up.
expecting that at all.
Yeah.
He loves you. What can I tell you? He loves you, the guy.
He was like, what's happening?
Yeah, what's happening? What's good?
Were you
he
wearing?
He said, "What's up, my brother? How are you?" And then
He didn't say,
just
what's
kept it
crack-a-lacking?
moving. No, not that. He did.
Oh.
Were you
What's up,
wearing
my
the
brother? Good to see you.
moccasins? The Kyrie moccasins?
No, I was wearing purple Jordan ones.
If you wore the moccasins, then he really would have brought it in.
Yeah. All right, what do we got, Lance? Go ahead.
So, Cappy, would you buy a haunted house?
Absolutely, 1,000%, no chance on planet Earth. I don't want to wake up at night hearing something creak and freak out like, oh, my God, there's something haunted about this house. I got to sell this house. If you tell me that there's any notion of a haunted something, if there's a ghost, if there's a poltergeist, if there's something in my TV, if there's somebody, ghost outside my window scratching at it, forget it. If you tell me that happens at that house, I'm out. I don't care what kind of deal it is.
I get you un despojo, Capi.
No despojo. No
Un
despojo.
espiritista.
No despojo.
Un espiritista.
No espiritita.
No haunted houses for me. DeAndre,
No
what about you?
necesita
Un espiritista, Capi. I
No
get it for you. It
espiritista.
should take
No.
care of it.
No.
It
No
don't
mas.
always work.
Nah, I'm good. I'm not buying no haunted house. I'm cool.
What about an espiritita para usted?
If that does come, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, then I guess you will.
There you go. All right, we got one more?
Yeah, one more really quick here. So today is National Compliment Day. I want to try a quick little exercise with you guys. Let's all pay each other one compliment.
Well, I would say this, Lindsay, and I texted you this earlier this week, was thank you so much for managing my schedule, because it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of studios that have to be set up over the next
And
several
showers.
weeks. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. But I did say I thought it was
Great
funny.
job doing that, yes.
You're welcome. I thought it was funny that you needed the shower.
I did need the shower because yesterday I needed to shower at the TV building.
Okay, I wrote mine down.
Now we got to get Cappy in there to shower.
Yeah, for sure. I wrote mine down. Cappy, you always make me laugh, and you're genuinely one of a kind.
Aw.
George, you are my favorite sideline reporter, especially when you bring it in with Kyrie like you did the other night before the Mavs game. And
You
D,
sound like Siri.
D,
Fight on.
D, you do an excellent job not only on our show, but doing the Lakers Talk Daily on the ESPN LA social channels.
Aw.
You do. You do
Wow.
an excellent job. So those are my compliments.
That is just wonderful.
Thank you.
We need
That is
to,
just
we need
marvelous.
more like positivity and vibes.
We agree.
All about the vibes. Remember when you were doing the daily affirmations, but then you were like, no, I can't do them anymore. I hate myself.
Well, it's not that I hate myself. I'm fat. You know? Now I'm
Right.
not feeling so fat anymore. I mean, I'm still as fat as I was, but I'm feeling better about my fatness.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Body positivity, you know?
I do know. I do know indeed. All right. Georgie, what are we going to do? We're going to go to Kirk Morrison next and talk some Pete Carroll?
He's going to join us. Let's and we'll ask him about Matthew Stafford. I mean, there's some chatter about whether he's going to come back or not. So Kirk Morrison will join us to talk some NFL. We'll talk championship game weekend with him as well. Coming back in just a second here on 710 ESPN.
All right, let me talk to everybody about Seller's Advantage. Listen, if you are considering selling your house right now, okay, you would probably like to make this a very fast process. Kind of sucks when you list your house and 30 days go by and then you got to lower the price, and another 15 days go by and you go, I thought this thing was going to sell real quick, and you got to lower the price again. It really kind of sucks when you have an open house and you got to leave all day and people are going to trample through, and nosy people like me will open your drawers and look through your stuff. You don't want that. You should call Seller's Advantage no matter what your reason is for selling. You're ready to move out of the state and retire somewhere. Your kids have already left the house and you don't need this much house. Your parents left you a home. You're not living there. You don't want to pay the property taxes. Whatever your reason is for selling, that's your business. But Seller's Advantage will make you a competitive cash offer. And if you like that competitive cash offer, we're going to do a beautiful thing, and it's going to happen fast. No complicated closing process, no deals falling through, just you, Seller's Advantage, cash money, and speed, and it's all going to happen. Call them today, 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-2747. They got all the reviews to show you that they've been making sellers happy for a really long time, buyers too. Check them out at sellersadvantage.com.
The most followed sports radio station in America.
710 ESPN.
At ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
In tough times, no one stands alone. The recent wildfires have deeply impacted our LA community, leaving many of our neighbors facing unimaginable hardship. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or just need someone to talk to, hope is just a call away. Call the LA County Department of Mental Health's 24/7 helpline at 1-800-854-7771 for free emotional support, service referrals, or crisis counseling, or visit dmh.lacounty.gov/gethelpnow/. We're in this together, LA. Stay strong.
When disaster strikes, you deserve an ally who truly understands the value of your home and your peace of mind. Are you facing fire damage? Despite your diligent insurance payments, your insurance company might fall short when it's time to file a claim. Do not let them underpay you. Feeling pressured to use subpar contractors or maybe ignored after all these years of loyalty? That's when you turn to Avner Gatt, California's premier public adjusting firm. With over 20 years of experience, Avner Gatt's team brings unparalleled industry expertise, having worked within the insurance sector themselves. They offer a free initial consultation and boast a vast network of experts to accurately assess your damages. They're trusted by lawyers, contractors, and real estate professionals alike. Avner Gatt is ready to fight for you. Call for your free consultation today. You can visit avnergatt.com. That's AVNERGAT, avnergatt.com, or call 818-917-5256. That's 818-917-5256. Avner Gatt. Your claim, our game.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
It's playoff time, and you can take full advantage by winning some cash playing daily fantasy football on Sleeper Picks. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. And now, Sleeper has a special offer. New users just have to play $5 to get $55 in free entries. Download the Sleeper app today and use code SCORE and get $55 in free entries when you play $5. That's code SCORE. Must be at least 18 years old. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
And it is Sedano and Cappy on Friday afternoon. Today is National Peanut Butter Day. Yeah, Cappy, I'm looking at you. And on this day, in 1987, a #1 hit, one of the greatest songs ever made. Billy Vera and the Beaters, At This Moment.
What did you think I would do at this moment?
Sedano and Cap continues your Friday afternoon right now.
I'd never hurt you.
Whoa, ho, ho. What do you think? One of my all-time favorite songs. And by the way, maybe Billy Vera's only song ever.
Yeah, I don't recall another one, to be honest.
No, me neither.
No.
Love this song.
Cappy, Kirk Morrison's joining us here.
Nice.
We got a number of things to talk about with him. We want to talk about Pete Carroll. We want to talk about Matthew Stafford's future. And we talk about these championship games. Kirk is going to be all over the place. From here on out, he's going to be in KC for the AFC title game. He's going to the Pro Bowl and that flag football game they play there now. He's going. Why you laugh? It's true. That's what they play, a flag football game now. And then he's going to be at the Super Bowl. He's going to be there wall to wall, dog, doing his thing.
Yeah, it's a lot, but you know what I mean. Content is king, but just being able to be around all these guys. Like you mentioned, George, it's a lot of stuff that's going on. So, maybe you can get a chance to talk to some of these guys about some of these new coaching hires. It's not going to be just about the Super Bowl teams, which we'll find out this Sunday. Yeah. But it's about, seeing some of these Chargers, how they felt after having Jim Harbaugh there, have the worm.
After the worm turning. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, get a chance to talk to Jared Verse, who I think will be the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year after, finally coming down after what happened last week with the Rams versus Philadelphia. So, you get a chance to see some guys. I always remember last year going to the Pro Bowl and Puka Nacua. Remember, he comes off that great season. And we've got some media availability, and I'm talking to Puka. And Puka's, worried that he's going to be late for practice. I'm like, Puka, You're okay, buddy. You're a Pro Bowler now. He's like, I know, but I just don't want to be late. I don't think. Look around. You're good, man. So it's always fun to see the innocence of some of these guys, with some of the accolades that they've made from throughout the season.
All right,
Kirk,
now let's talk Pete.
Let's
go ahead,
jump.
Cappy,
Let's just jump right into Pete. So I am so excited about this hire because, in my opinion, the Raiders so desperately need stability, and to me, Pete Carroll is that guy. He's not a first-time head coach. He's not some young guy. He's not a hot coordinator. He's a guy that when he walks into that first meeting, everybody in that room knows Super Bowl champion, national champion, coached Heisman winners, coached first-round picks. He is a winner. I'm all in on Pete Carroll. I think it's a brilliant move. What do you say?
I'm not sure I like it. Honestly, I'm just. I mean, you can say all you want to.
Well, it's so funny because I had the reaction you did. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I like Pete, but I mean, I don't know if this is going to work.
Pete, but I mean, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of guys that you go to USC, and I'm like, are we really bringing Fight On to Las Vegas? Like, let's stop this.
Fight On.
To be honest, yeah.
Why? What don't you like? What's the problem here?
I feel like what they did was they brought Grandpa into the house to get things in order, and then hopefully it's a succession plan that they put in place. Let's be honest. This is the way I see it. You bring in Pete Carroll, you groom the Raiders coach in waiting, and then he's out of there in 2 or 3 years. You tell me a Raiders coach that's lasted 3 years over the last 10 to 15 years. It just doesn't happen. Let's be honest. I mean, you get 2-3 years max as a coach with the Raiders. What makes Pete Carroll any different? So I think this is more about a coach in waiting after Pete, more so than what Pete is right now.
Okay, fair.
Now what, Cappy?
Okay, but hold on a second. So your point is made that coaches don't last long for the Raiders. I acknowledge that.
By the way, I am trying to look up to see who was the last coach who
that.
Yeah. By the way, I'm trying to see
I lived in it.
Hold on. So, yeah, you're right. Now, you said lasted more than 3 years?
More than 3 years.
Oh, man, you got to go way back. Hold on.
How many did Jack Del Rio get? How many?
He had
how many
3.
years?
You'd have to go to the first Gruden run.
Okay.
That's how far back you got to go. You got to go back 25 years, dog.
But I think you bring up a good point, which is you're bringing Grandpa back, but here's the reason why it's a good move. Because Grandpa has legit credentials, and no offense to Antonio Pierce, it's just that's who I have to compare him to because that's who the last coach was. Antonio Pierce did not have those credentials. Antonio Pierce did not have that respect per se. The players might have liked him because he was like them. He's a former player and he's kind of young. But Pete Carroll is a grown man winner, and everybody in that locker room knows who he is and what he's done. Yeah.
Let's just be honest. When you went to the AFC West table, when you go to these meetings, something just didn't fit, right? The Raiders coaches haven't fit. Now there's a coach that fits with what the table looks like.
Right.
Pete Carroll can now he sits at that table with Andy Reid, Sean Payton, right? Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll. I'm like, think about this. If someone told me this was the coaches of the AFC West back in 2008, like 2010, you'd be like, this division is fire. And yet here we are getting like the second version, sometimes the third versions of a lot of these coaches. I like it for that reason because I think we're going to get some legitimate coaching from guys who have experience. But I don't like the move because I feel like this is not a long-term success. I look at my guy, my teammate 100%. Kevin O'Connell. You brought him in to be the head coach, and now he signs an extension. He'll be there for a long time. That's just not what the Raiders are doing right now.
Yeah, but isn't that what the Raiders – don't the Raiders need stability? Don't they need to create some consistency in the organization? And if Pete Carroll can bring them the professionalism –
Right, but Cappy, what kind of consistency are you going to get if he's only going to be there a couple of years?
Well, wait a second. Hold on.
Only a couple of years. He ain't going to be there that long.
Okay, but time out. Let's just say he makes it the 3 years, and then let's say the Raiders have the option for the 4th, and let's say things are trending in the right direction. I mean, if Pete Carroll can coach there 3 or 4 years, that's probably enough time for Pete Carroll to draft a quarterback, develop a quarterback, and put the Raiders in a position to finally really compete in the division. 3 or 4 years, you got to give them that time.
Listen,
hey, man, that ain't happening. This ain't the Legion of Boom again, dog. They don't got no quarterback. Like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
Like Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor are not walking through that door. Bobby Wagner's not walking through that door. Michael Bennett. This ain't the same Seahawks that allowed Russell Wilson to grow and let Russ cook, and then they let Russ cook, and Russ Cook got Pete Carroll fired, and it got Russ up out of Seattle. You can't come with that same game plan to Vegas.
I think you're forgetting the first 3 years of Pete Carroll in Seattle were not exactly championship caliber years. It took him a long time to build the roster, to get his staff
right. Remember they won a division at 7-9? Remember that?
7-9. Yeah. They played the Saints.
That was 7-9.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't right. They were no
Saints
good. And the division was no good, but they were 5-11 his first 2 years. It will take time, given how bad the Raiders roster is.
Yeah. By the way, real quick,
the time that you're mentioning, though, does Pete Carroll have that kind of time?
Yes.
He's not 29.
No.
He's not 39. He's not 49.
He ain't even 69.
He ain't even 69. Like,
You guys are wrong. You guys are wrong.
Win,
let me tell you where you guys are wrong.
No. Here's what it is, Kirk.
Pete Carroll is 55 years old.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you what's happening here. I will tell you in literally 30 seconds after I tell people about my friends at LAX. Changes arriving daily to reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the traveler experience, okay? The LAX economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces as well as hundreds of EV charging stations, which I used just recently on my last trip. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding. Who doesn't want to get to their flight faster? And a new facility will have all major rental car brands under one roof for when your friends and family come to visit. And in the future, if you're a local, you don't even need a car to get to LAX. The People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. So you take the Metro to the Century Station. People Mover train will pick you up at the Century Station right to your terminal. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com. For more info, that's flylax.com. Here's what you're dealing with right now, Kirk. Okay? This is what I deal with every day with Cappy. Okay? This one is like the trifecta. Okay?
Give it to him, George. Let's hear the trifecta. Give it to him.
Pete Carroll's his boy. He texted him earlier today, okay? So let's start with that, okay? Then, because he's trying to get his boy Alex Van Pelt there as the offensive coordinator, okay? So let's do that.
That's not really going to happen.
Okay, either way, you did try, which is your good friend.
Yep.
Then it's his boyfriend Tom Brady's hire, okay?
That's right.
So that's the other aspect of it. Yep. And then he revealed to us just earlier that he's always wanted to be a Raider fan.
That's right.
And now his new name is #RaiderCappy.
That's right. Hey, everything that George just said, I agree with 1,000%. I'm not embarrassed by anything he just said, and I'm with it all day long, okay? I wanted to be a Raider fan. Now I can be a Raider fan because my favorite coach, Pete Carroll, has just pulled into the division with my least favorite team, the Chargers, and I can't wait to see Pete Carroll.
There it is. That's the other thing.
Jim Harbaugh. Don't forget about that, George.
You're so full of crap. That is never going to happen.
Let me tell you guys something right now.
Stanford, USC. I saw all the thoughts. The Stanford, USC, and then San Francisco and Seattle.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see that now. The Raiders versus the Chargers have new meanings because of the head coaches. Look, it's going to be fun. I just think that in this division now, the Raiders still don't have the most important piece that you need to even contend. Until they get a quarterback, I don't care who's the head coach. You ain't going nowhere.
I have no problem.
You know what's going to happen, Cappy? I'm going
to
to make a prediction right now. Your boy Tom Brady is going to be very similar to what Derek Jeter just went through as an owner. He had like 5%, and eventually he's like, I don't know if this is for me, because he's going to get a lot of the blame because everyone's talking about how he made this hire, right? And it's going to Tom Brady, he is not going to last, at least as a front-facing owner, for very long because of this. Because everyone's going to start pointing the finger at him because this is his hire, especially if this goes south.
Yeah, but let me just tell you guys.
You know what? I was laughing at everybody who fell for the okie doke, though. When everybody was talking about the Raiders are closing in on Ben Johnson, I'm like, they're not closing in on Ben. Let's just be real. Ben Johnson and his agent floated that out there to get the Chicago Bears to up their game. Which they did,
because
they're
cheap.
Stole away. That's all it was. Like, let's be honest. Pete Carroll is the best of the rest.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say one thing. Pete Carroll, you guys look at him, and I think a lot of people look at his age. You already called him Grandpa. He may be 74 years old in real life.
He's a spry 74?
He is. 74 is the new 55. Okay?
Hey, look, I'm just telling you, I think he'll be a good coach, but I feel like the plan is there's a succession plan in place, and I don't have time to wait. Like, this is my analogy I love using, right? We're in an air fryer world, baby. I need it done in 15 or minutes or less.
Okay.
I'm not trying to put this in the oven and let it bake and
that's
roast
fine.
for a while.
But I have one question for you. I got one question for you. If Ben Johnson would have been named the coach of the Raiders, are the Raiders better with Ben Johnson than they are with a legitimate Pete Carroll who's been a Super Bowl champion, a national champion head coach? Why would they be better?
Ben Johnson, let's not act like Jared Goff was like – Jared Goff at the end here was not the Jared Goff we saw when Sean McVay first got here, okay? Ben Johnson helped Jared Goff in a way similarly to what Sean McVay did when he first arrived, right? So, he helped reinvent Jared Goff. And I'm not saying he could have done that with just any random quarterback, but maybe they do get, you wanted them to get Sam Darnold now. Like Ben Johnson with Sam Darnold, I'd take my chances with something like that. Pete is not like some offensive-minded coach.
No.
I don't trust him like that with a quarterback.
No, but what Kirk is saying is that he's having a hard time with his age and the length of his contract. What Kirk is saying is that he doesn't think he's a long-term solution. What I'm saying to you guys is, you don't have to worry about the long-term solution right now. You need to worry about the short-term, and the short-term solution is the next 3 years. That's what you have to worry about. So when you have a legitimate coach like Pete Carroll, you concentrate on the next 3 years, and we'll see what happens after that.
Mike Tyson was going to win that fight a couple weeks ago.
That is true, I did.
You love all these old dudes. That's what it is.
I do love the old dudes, but I do believe in Pete Carroll. I do.
No, man. Hey, them legs was wobbling, Cappy. I'm sorry. Hey, them legs was wobbling. Oh, man, he was wobbling. Look, Pete's going to have the energy. He's going to have the competition. He's going to bring the basketball.
He'll be fine.
Look, he'll be fine. The Raiders will compete, but they still don't have a quarterback. And
correct.
Look, what would Pete Carroll be if they didn't luck into bringing in Russell Wilson? Because they signed Matt Flynn that year, and Matt Flynn was garbage.
My God, yeah,
terrible.
So to me, that's how I'll look at Pete Carroll as the quarterback.
And who's the Raiders GM? Who's the Raiders GM?
Jim Spytek.
Yeah, they just signed him.
Got the GM from the assistant general manager
from the Chiefs,
from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, the Tampa Bay, right? There you go.
Yeah, so Tom Brady.
So they gave Telesco like a year and he's out for.
Right, because Tom Brady had to walk in and tell Mark Davis, "Let me show you how to run things."
Yeah,
and plus, listen. Let me ask you this: speaking of old dudes,
was still over hanging out in Southern California. With the fam, he wasn't all the way in. He was going to be all the way in, and then it's like, all right, you can go back and hang at Corona Del Mar.
All right. Well, listen. Let me ask you. Speaking of old dudes, but not as old as Pete.
Yeah.
And we love Pete, but we just
Pete's a young guy.
We just keeping it real. Matt Stafford, we got Kelly Stafford out here saying that we'll see if Matthew comes back, and we don't know. Yeah. And look, we're gonna deal with this every year. It feels like with him moving forward if he sticks around.
Correct.
What sense do you get about what he can continue to do?
He'll be the Rams quarterback next year, but then we'll have a plan in waiting. I look at what Les Snead and Sean McVay did with replacing Aaron Donald, who retired. It was a 2-year plan, and that 2-year plan looks to be brilliant. The way that they've revamped that defensive line, we haven't even mentioned Aaron Donald's name. That's crazy. One of the greatest players ever. This is the year that the Rams have to have a plan in place. This is the year. So I think it's bringing Matthew Stafford back, but definitely – I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in a quarterback in the first 2 rounds, okay? Not
Jalen
round
Milroe?
4, not found around 5. I'm saying the first 2 rounds.
Wait. Come on. Now you're speaking my language. Let's go. Jalen Milroe?
Milroe, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers. There's going to be some quarterbacks I think that the Rams can have their pick in the first or second round, which could be the quarterback in waiting. They don't have to put him out there right away because you still got Matthew Stafford. You have a quarterback on a rookie deal. That's the way I see it. But they have to start the succession plan right away. And I don't see McVay with kind of going and get a retread. I don't think there's a good retread like a Matthew Stafford was that came in right away, gave you a Super Bowl. I don't see that quarterback. So this is McVay's opportunity to groom his first rookie quarterback, and I like it.
Listen, I was talking about them going after Michael Penix last year, so I'm in on that.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Well,
and I think McVay wants a project too.
Yeah, well, they desperately need to. You talk about succession plans. they've got to have a succession plan at quarterback. They currently do not. Now, let's just move on to what's happening this upcoming weekend. So you tell me, are you giving Washington the shot to go into Philadelphia, shock the world, and send the first rookie quarterback to the Super Bowl?
No, not at all. I'm saying that, like, let's be honest, that place, the link is going to be popping. Saquon is off the hook right now. A.J. Brown's going to have his best game. Jalen Hurts, I mean, these dudes are experienced. They've been to that Super Bowl, lost it a couple years ago against the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't see there's a way that they can beat them. I mean, unless Jalen Hurts gets hurt, no pun intended, like he did in the last game where Frankie Louisville knocked him out of the game, and that's how the Commanders won because Jaden Daniels played better than Kenny Pickett in that game. If Kenny Pickett is on the sideline this entire game, that means the Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl again for the second time in, 4 years?
I'll just say this. It's a 6-point spread in the
Eagles
game.
covering that thing.
And climbing.
Okay, well,
cover that thing.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of data out there that will tell you guys that the Eagles are the most obvious pick. It is clear as day based on some of the – and I'll give you some of that as the show goes on here today, George. But I don't know, man. Something in my gut – or maybe it's just me rooting. I really would love to see Jaden Daniels pull the massive upset and see what happens in year one. And I would love to see Jaden Daniels face the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, which would be amazing.
No disrespect to DeAndre, I will be rooting for Washington because I'd like to see it happen, but ain't no way in hell. Again, like last week, remember I told you, my brain versus my heart. My heart said the Rams. My brain was like, is the Eagles. And that's where I'm at again.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody really gave, including Vegas, which had Detroit as a 9.5-point favorite, anybody gave Washington that much of a chance. They pulled the upset, and let's see if they can do it again this week. Now, on the other hand,
what's up?
What do we think about Buffalo, who won, but Baltimore contributed to the Buffalo victory.
Yeah.
Right.
What do we think? I mean, here's Kansas City in their 7th straight AFC Championship game. They're home. Buffalo wins these games in the regular season, but Kansas City wins them in the postseason. So what do we think is going to happen?
Oh, this is a tough one, man. And, I think, look, your heart says Buffalo. I spent my last 2 years with the Buffalo Bills in the NFL. I know about Bills Mafia, Western New York, Orchard Park, Buffalo, the wings, everything is leaning on this is Buffalo's time to get to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen, who I think is the MVP in this league, I've been saying it over Lamar, who's Mr. Regular Season, but Josh Allen is saying he's Mr. Postseason. This is their game, but not this week, man. If this game is in Buffalo, I'm feeling it. But the Chiefs are two things that people just aren't talking about right now. They're healthy, number one, and I don't know why. I still feel like they're hungry. They know how massive this is. They're going to do something, or they're trying to do something that's just never been done. And for some reason, they feel like they play at a different speed, a different tempo. And we already know the calls are going to be going Patrick Mahomes' way. So I'm gonna lean on what I think. It's going to be a close game down to the end as always. But Patrick Mahomes unleashing Xavier Worthy. I mean, Travis Kelce is going to be Travis Kelce, but it's going to be the guys who we didn't expect to make the big plays will make them this week. And you'll be like, how did Chiefs have that guy? How did they get Xavier Worthy? How did they have Marquise Hollywood Brown? How do they have – it's like, what is this, Noah Gray? Who is this guy? Those are the guys that are going to make the plays this weekend.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, on both those, man.
Yeah.
All right, Kirk, listen, appreciate the time as always, man. Safe travels. We'll catch up with you at some point here, man, but thanks for all the time this season, and we'll talk some more for sure.
Yeah, and get your Raider hat on, dude. Get positive about Pete Carroll. I'm pretty disappointed.
No, you know what, Kirk? Keep it real, dog, okay?
Yeah.
No, I ain't keeping it real.
Man. Until a coach does 3 years with the Raiders, man, I mean, what else am I supposed to do, Cap?
I don't know, man.
I mean, seriously.
Sounds like doing 3 years for the Raiders is like being in jail for 3 years. My God.
I mean, golly. All right, man. I'm out. I'll talk to y'all.
All right, be good.
All right.
All right, Cappy, we got our commercial-free hour coming up in just a sec. Stick around, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Cappy. You've heard me talk about my personal situation with my divorce and subsequent custody battle in the past, and I know that you need a team behind you to get the justice you deserve. My friend Mark Reel and his team at Real Fathers Rights are here to help you guys. Visit realfathersrights.com/710. That's REEL. realfathersrights.com/710 or call 323-870-1611. That's 323-870-1611. Real Fathers Rights. The Father's Rights Attorneys.
Travis Matthew, an apparel brand deeply rooted in Southern California, is here to support our LA community and those affected by the destruction across the cities we love so much. Right now, their Topanga and Century City retail locations are offering free Travis Matthew products to help those affected by the Southern California wildfires. Can't make it to the stores? Discounts are also available by reaching out to their customer service team. Stay updated on Travis Matthew's donation and volunteer efforts by following @TravisMatthew on social media.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
It's a key ingredient called Tesnor. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. Total T is backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321321. That's HUNK to 321321.
You never expect a Hail Mary pass to win and end the game or getting into an accident. Hey, it's Trav with DeMarco.
Only one all-star defense team you can call to defend you. The personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000.
Don't get sacked by others. Joseph will help you achieve the maximum compensation you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000.
Let Joseph and his team score a touchdown for you.
I'm just like the year of the snake, filled with charm, mystery, and grace. Whoops! Watch that step. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Lunar New Year freebie. Get a free Lucky Lunar New Year bracelet the 31st.
Number 2.
Ryan McKnight, live on Valentine's Day.
And the #1 reason.
We're giving away a Lexus NX250. Be here on the 31st at 10 p.m. for your chance to win a Lexus.
Morongo, good times.
Hey everybody, it's Cappy here. Hey, if you've been thinking about selling your home, the real estate market is changing right now. So before you call an agent, let's get you to call Seller's Advantage. Seller's Advantage is focused on the seller's needs and will make you a competitive cash offer, and you can close in days. They're the go-to choice for homeowners looking to sell their homes fast. No agents, no commissions. Getting your home ready to list for sale can be expensive and very complicated, and you may not want people walking through your house all day long. Seller's Advantage makes the selling process so easy so that sellers walk away happy. They may even offer you a $10,000 advance to help with all your moving expenses. So get a no-obligation offer at 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-2747, or you can go to sellersadvantage.com. That's sellersadvantage.com.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
This is the city, Los Angeles, California.
It's 5 p.m. in the Southland.
Turn it up, man.
Time to blow that 5 o'clock whistle with Sedano and Cappy.
That's right, it's the 5 o'clock hour on Sedano and Cap. And it's time for 30 minutes non-stop.
Sedano and Cap on 710 ESPN.
With fun and frivolity, tomfoolery and hijinks, and Cappy doing his thing. Thanks to our friends at Real Fathers Rights. Real Fathers Rights, the Father's Rights Attorney. Visit realfathersrights.com or call 951-482-7517. Let's do it, 5 o'clock in the Southland.
30 minutes of nonstop Sedano and Kap starts now.
You ready for this? And time for the Real Father's Rights 5 o'clock hour on 710 ESPN. Let's do it, Jack.
Beep, ba boop.
Sing it.
Da bop. Beep, boom, boom. Boom, ba bum, boom, boom. Cappy, I mentioned earlier that we were going to give it away this past hour because we're giving a pair away every hour. We have 2 to give away this hour now, so I'm going to give away 1 now. Listen for your chance during the show today to experience Lakers Warriors at Cosm Los Angeles. Enjoy immersive games in the Dome and the wall-to-wall multi-view display in the Hall at Cosm, the ultimate home for basketball fans. Limited tickets available through Cosm.com or Cosm's mobile app. Caller 7 right now, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. You'll win a pair for Lakers, Warriors tomorrow at Cosm. It'll be like you're at Chase Center, okay? Only from your friends here at 710 ESPN. So we're giving away those now. We got one more pair to give away before the end of the show. Thanks to Kirk Morrison. Yeah, thanks to Kirk Morrison for joining us there. Cappy, you and I need to go there at some point.
I have not yet been to Cosm. I would like to go to Cosm. Don't need to go there for a broadcast, although that would be a lot of fun. Just would like to go and enjoy it and check it out. You know?
I think maybe we'll go. They're playing the Knicks, I think, next week, and I think maybe we'll go to that.
What day of the week? Because next week
it's
is
a Saturday. It's a Saturday night. Yeah.
Because next week is weird because the Lakers go on the road, and they're playing on the East Coast on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, which is going to knock you and me off the air, as I recall, other than Wednesday and Friday of next week.
Correct.
So going to be a little bit of a weird week for us. So
it is.
What about one of those games next week?
We could do that. I may be on the road, though. I'm going to be on the road on Friday, so it would have to be earlier. Who do they play Monday?
I got to go back and look at the schedule. I don't remember.
I got it right here.
Who?
Oh, no, man.
The Wizards. The Lakers.
I'm not watching that. I watched that this past week. I saw that enough. I'm good. I saw them beat up.
Tuesday they're playing against the Clippers, but that's here in L.A. You want to go to Intuit Dome?
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Tuesday is against the Clippers here in L.A.?
Yeah.
Well, but they're in – wait a second. Time out. Wait a second.
No. The following Tuesday after the Knicks game.
Okay, not this Tuesday. Got it.
No. They're playing – well, they're playing the Sixers, but that's not good. I don't know if that's going to be a good game.
No, I don't want to see that either.
Yeah, so I'm saying we go to I'm going to try to go to the Knicks game at Cosm. Maybe
you say it's on a Saturday.
That's on a Saturday. Yeah, the first.
Play the Hornets
February.
Play the Hornets on Monday.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I don't know how that. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'd like to go for like a cool game, like you see, the Knicks would be great because it'd be like you're at MSG. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
But we should go to Intuit.
You know, George, I would love to go to Intuit, and I haven't been in there yet. And just a friend of mine just the other day said to me, "Hey, man, can you get me tickets to see the Suns are playing at the Clippers at Intuit?" And I'm like, "Bro, I don't have it. I got no Clipper juice. You know, I've never wanted any Clipper juice."
Did he say, "Hey, man"?
He said, "Hey, man." You know,
hey, man.
He just said, "Hey, man, you got some tickets, babe?" Because I'm spilkish right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm kvelling. You know what I mean, babe? And I got no juice over at the Clippers, none. But I will say this real quick, George. I want to say this. Last night, okay, I was walking over to crypto for the Lakers Celtics, right?
Right.
And
and I want to get into that in a second. So.
Okay, you and I talked about just the other day, I think it was us talking about it. Maybe it was Trudell. What they did was, when I say they, whoever they is, the road that used to be Chickern Way, right in between
they
LA
paved
Live
it.
and crypto. So now they've paved it so that there is no road. There'll never be a car that drives there again. And it's a much smoother experience walking from LA Live.
Yeah, it's like a plaza now.
It's freaking awesome, okay?
Yeah.
So as I told you yesterday, George, I'm trying to get a little bit more into TikTok. And I know, as Lindsay reported yesterday, there are people that are willing to buy other people's iPhones that have the TikTok app on the phone already, because apparently the TikTok app isn't in the App Store anymore, and it's going to be a long time before it comes back. I have an iPhone 15, okay? It's in perfect working condition, and it's got TikTok on it. If anybody wants to buy my iPhone for $60,000, sold. But, George, last night I posted a video on TikTok of the whole courtyard situation to see exactly what's going on for people who haven't been there yet, and it immediately blew up. I'm talking like 5 million views. All right, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. Maybe it was only 5,000. Nonetheless, I don't know why. I don't get the algorithm. Like, it just blew up. Like, everything else that I've put out there that I think is better content.
You use the right hashtags?
I didn't use any hashtags,
It's a
D.
problem.
Oh, that's your problem, dog. What are you doing?
Wait. What do you mean? I thought that using hashtags is a good thing.
Exactly. You're supposed to use the hashtags.
Yeah, you got to use them.
But I didn't use them. And what I'm saying to you guys is that my video was like 10 times more than every other video.
It's probably because you had some content that not a lot of people have. Like, not most
Right.
people don't even realize that they've changed that yet and that it's open.
Well, how does that change the numbers?
Because then people see, oh, this guy's talking about what's going on over at crypto. You know, that's my guess.
Yeah, the algorithm, their algorithm is way better than everybody else's in like getting stuff that is unique and pulling that stuff for more people to see. It's why it's not the only reason, but part of the reason, obviously the whole, the Chinese can get all your information thing is a big part of this, is the biggest part of this. But the other part of the equation that not enough people are talking about with the TikTok thing is that they want an American company in there so they can then figure out why their algorithm is better than all the other algorithms on like the American social media sites.
All right, all I'm going to say is this. If you haven't been to the new and improved LA Live Crypto.com courtyard in between,
go to Cappy's TikTok.
Go to my TikTok.
By the way, Cappy, did you see that Instagram is now offering influencers like $50,000 to migrate over to Reels with their like normally what they'd post on TikTok, because they're trying to like proactively get people to go over there and post the majority of their content there instead of TikTok, because I guess Instagram still thinks that TikTok's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe you can get them to hook you up with one of those $50,000 deals.
Yeah, how do I get my hands on that cash?
I mean, if you get more videos blown up like that one, maybe they'll just come to you.
Tell you right now, if I move over to Instagram and I sell my phone,
that's a Zuckerberg joint.
It's like $110,000 right there. Sell my cell phone for $60,000, get $50,000 from Mark Zuckerberg.
Well,
it's $110,000.
You can't do that because then you wouldn't have a phone that has TikTok anymore.
No, I don't need TikTok at that point. I'm moving everything over to Instagram.
You're right. Good point.
Yeah. All right, Cappy, in the interim, let's go back to the actual Lakers. So they get this big win yesterday. Do we have the audio of AD with Shams Charania? Do we have
yes.
that? I'd love to hear. So AD did a sit down with Shams, and one of the topics, or the thing that I guess had the most traction, was his conversation about the Lakers' needs, or what he feels are the Lakers' needs.
1 second, hang on.
All right, I'd like to hear this
so here's
myself.
AD with Shams.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay, we're waiting. We are waiting. We are in a holding pattern for AD and Shams.
We're still waiting for Anthony Davis to speak to Shams
doing
Charania.
their due diligence to see what's out there. The problem is in terms of the trade market, who there can make that difference? And I think LeBron James, Anthony Davis, your two star players, I think they want to see.
We hit the wrong one, so stop it. It's okay. We had some snafus there. Now let's just play the one with AD's perspective.
What more can be done with this roster? Are you satisfied with the roster? Do you feel like you guys need some more here?
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having the big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight. I'm at the 5 and I'm at the 4.
This historic.
Okay,
so
that's
there you go. Well, that's the comment that's gained the most traction, which is not a surprise. Yeah, you've talked about this. We've talked about this a million times over. He's always wanted to play more of the 4. He's never been super comfortable playing center the entire game, especially.
It's too bad, too, because, last night I was watching him, and he's kind of laboring at times up and down the floor. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you are a center. You're not what Kevin Durant is when I think of like somebody your size, your height.
Especially in 2025, you know what I mean? He's a center.
Yeah, and like last night, I watched Anthony Davis a lot. I kind of was focusing in on him on a lot of plays. Whether he's pushing his way to the basket, rebounding the ball, getting rebounds and putting up dunks, defending. I mean, he is a center. Now, I do understand what he's saying, though. The idea of if you put another big on the floor and we have 2 big guys and it frees me up to be a an athletic guy around the basket and maybe have a couple of mid-range type shots. I understand what he's saying, and I also understand that when you win, you look at the formula and you think that's the formula. But we're not using that formula right now. So I want to go back to that formula. I completely understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
I guess where I get caught up in all of this is this notion of, I would be better playing at the 4 and somebody else would be better playing center.
Well, I think here's the thing. When you go back to the year that they won, and even after that, when those guys were still around, or some variation of having a center where they had Gasol or whoever it was, Anthony Davis would still play center in the big moments, end of quarters, end of halves, particularly in large stretches of the fourth quarter. So it's not like he doesn't play center, period. It's just he wants to save his body for most of the game. And Lindsay, you have some numbers, right? He only played the 5 like 40% of the time, right?
Yeah, 40% exactly. So in 2019-20, which is the year that they won the championship, he shared the floor with a center, whether it was either Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee, for a total of 1,200 minutes. And this season, he's played 96% of his minutes at center, and has shared the floor for a total of 53 minutes, which is a huge difference.
He doesn't want to play that many minutes at center. I get it. Like, he's never wanted to do it. The fact that they've gotten him to do it, Cappy, for this many years is honestly surprising. And it goes to show you that he's been willing to do what it takes and what the team wants him to do. But now he's like, no, I'm done with that, man. Like, I need to preserve my body. I've been able to stay relatively healthy, but that's not going to continue to happen if I got to bang down low all the time. And I get it. He's not going up against like Hakeem Olajuwon and Shaq these days. Like, I get that. But still, there is a wear and tear on your body that he doesn't need to go through if he can float a little bit outside of the paint.
Yeah, I'm not going to begrudge Anthony Davis another big body, because the fact of the matter is we've all been saying this for the better part of at least 2 seasons. It doesn't take being an NBA general manager, and it doesn't take being a 20-year NBA veteran to see that the Lakers only have one big guy, and that's Anthony Davis. And when you say to me, well, they've got Jackson Hayes, I say, yeah, Jackson Hayes is like 6'11", but he's like 125 pounds. And I like Jackson Hayes. Yeah. I mean, I like Jackson Hayes. He dunks the ball. He's exciting. He flies through the lane. I mean, I like Jackson Hayes, but he doesn't provide Anthony Davis any sort of relief, and you can't really play them together. So I'm not going to begrudge Anthony Davis the desire to have another big body to help him out much more.
Here's the only challenge with AD playing the 4, okay? That means LeBron's going to have to play small forward again. And I think in the regular season, that can be potentially challenging. I think in the postseason, I think when there's days off and days in between and, there's more rest between games, particularly early in the playoffs, I don't think that's as big a deal. But I don't love LeBron having to guard, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for 40 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I love that necessarily. Or guys like that, basically.
Just explain this to me. Why does LeBron have to play at the 3?
Well, if Anthony Davis is playing the 4 and you have a center, where the hell's LeBron going to play?
Well, why can't he still play in the backcourt? I mean, just explain
No,
it
but
to
I'm
me.
talking about on defense.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just thinking about, LeBron with the ball in his hands. So
no, I'm talking about on defense. That's really that becomes the issue is who is LeBron guarding? So, for example, right, let's take a look at, let me look at the standings right now. So if I look at the standings right now, and the Lakers are the 5 seed. So right now they would play Denver, okay? Now, Denver's not as big a deal for LeBron in regards to having to guard somebody, because it's not like they have a 3 that you worry about. I mean, you could kind of hide him on like Aaron Gordon, although I don't know if he wants to bang with Aaron Gordon. But if not, he's going to have to guard like Michael Porter Jr., and I'm sure he could do that in a series. But Michael Porter Jr. likes to kind of float around, run around screens a little bit. Like, I don't know if that's something LeBron, is going to want to do on a regular basis. I would say the one saving grace is that if LeBron has to play the 3 in a playoff series, this is the reason I like it more. There's not a lot of small forwards in the Western Conference that I'm like, oh man, that guy terrifies me, you know? So I think that's kind of the way I would look at it. Because even like if they played the Clippers, let's say, Kawhi's going to play the 4, although LeBron would have to guard him a little bit. But there's just not a lot of guys that I would be terrified by in a playoff series. I just worry about the wear and tear in the regular season with LeBron when you have a unbalanced schedule and you're playing, you know, a number of different guys that can just kind of run him around, and that's not something that I think he's going to want to do. He didn't love doing that in his prime per se, let alone now at 40.
Yeah, I guess the way I used to look at it, and this is probably in the last couple of years, is that Anthony Davis sort of publicly saying that he doesn't want to be a center and he'd rather play at 4 than 5. At the time, it sounded selfish, but I think now, a couple of years later, when the Lakers haven't been successful, I mean, obviously they made it to the Western Conference Finals that one year, and that was a big shock to everybody. But when you see Anthony Davis at times against the bigger, heavier centers kind of get pushed around towards the basket.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot last year. Yeah.
Then I start to say to myself, okay, well, it would be great to have somebody else who's a bigger, stronger, heavier center who could relieve him a little bit from that, and then he can use his other skills. So I've kind of grown from, gosh, he kind of comes off as sounding selfish because you know what? He's really a good player, and he plays, you know, so well on both ends of the floor at that position, to now kind of coming around to, you know, they desperately need another big body. And if by bringing in another big body, he's not just a guy to give Anthony Davis a break, but he's a guy that can actually work on the floor with Anthony Davis to take more advantage of his skills, then you know what? So be it. I said it to you guys yesterday, and I'll continue to ask the question. If there's a trade that brings in the body that we're talking about and possibly another real shooter, because I'm bullish on Dalton Connect, and last night he showed you why you should be bullish on him.
Yeah, but I don't know how much trust you're going to have in him in a playoff series.
And that's the issue. You know, you're still talking about, I don't care that he's, you know, older than your average 19-year-old, you know, rookie nowadays. You don't know for sure what you're going to get from that guy. Last night he shows you glimpses of why he's good. I mean, whether it's shooting the threes or even dunking the ball and driving through the lane. But if you could tell me that the Lakers could, A, get the big we're talking about, whoever he may be,
and then like a guard who who can handle the ball, shoot the ball, play some defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you can get those two pieces, I know for me, and I'm kind of guessing for a lot of other fans, especially fans that are like ready to trade LeBron and ready to rebuild and ready to finally get over the LeBron era, I think if you could say big body and shooter guard, if you could add two legit pieces, I think most of us would all be like, screw it, go for it, try and win.
I'm with McMiniman. McMiniman and I, we talked about it yesterday with McMiniman. I'm in on that. By the way, Linz, do we have audio of JJ talking about it? Because I know he kind of also discussed about how that game yesterday maybe reinforces the idea of them potentially seeking more players that can be in the fold. Do we have that audio?
Yes. Let me make sure that I have the right one. I know I have what he talked about, the trade rumors and, you know, Anthony Davis wanting them to get another player. So hang on one second here.
Mm-hmm.
Holding pattern, waiting.
Yeah, we're in the holding pattern. Yeah.
Hanging in the holding
right,
pattern.
I believe this is the right one. It says
Okay,
about
let's hear
J.J. Redick on what to take away from the win.
Okay.
Just reinforcing those standards, reinforcing our identities. When we do those things at a high level, we can beat anybody in the league. I mean, that's, again, I feel like the group knows that and feels that,